it's Meaghan Likes, and I am so excited that you're here to join us for today's class where we're going to talk about the psychology of pricing. Now, I had this class titled Pricing for Profits, and the Maid Summit team was like, Meaghan, that's not specific enough. We need you to be a little bit more specific. Now, this is I've done this summit several times. Every time we do a specific special topic just for you. And so this year we were like, we want to talk about pricing because we know that the tariffs created chaos. We know that maybe people who've been floating through on some COVID money are struggling. We know that debt is getting a little bit out of control. I'm not saying this is anything that has to do with you, but we were like, we want to talk about pricing. We want to talk about profitability, but we don't want to be another one of those clickbait, classes where you're like, yeah, that looks interesting. So we're going to talk about the psychology of pricing today. And I'm going to sneak in some profitability because you're going to learn a little bit about me in case you don't know me, but we're going to talk a little bit about money. But basically the end result of today is you should be charging what you're worth, and you should feel good about how much you're charging. So my name's Meaghan Likes. People like to call me Meg Likes Money because I like to talk about money. And there's no guilt, there's no shame about running a profitable, sustainable business that serves you, your family, the family of your employees, and the families of the clients that you serve. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I am so excited to be here with you. Now, I have an opening question for you. This is a little bit weird because Maid Summit, we always do this virtually. So I never get to see you. Although sometimes I get to meet you in 3D and you tell me that you heard me say blah, blah, blah. That's very cool. And we have the chat. I'm going to be here live with you in that chat. So I want to be engaging with you. But I'm going to start by an imaginary, hypothetical, by yourself in your office or maybe with your staff, show of hands. Who currently is pricing based on what they think they're supposed to be charging, based on what their competitors are charging, or maybe based on what the marketplace is charging, or maybe based on what other people have said, like an average home of this size goes for this much? Raise your hand just by yourself in your little office. Is that you? Have you maybe done some price shopping, called some competitors, been like, yeah, normally a house is like this many dollars. That's what my market will bear. Did you just say that to yourself? While I was talking, were you saying, yeah, but she doesn't know my market. That's what my market will bear. Maybe? Okay. If you are saying any of those things, you are in the right freaking room. Because even if you're a room in an auditorium right now and you are sitting shoulder to shoulder with other cleaning business owners, what I would tell you is that they are different than you. They have different families than you. They live in different homes than you. They drive different cars than you. They have different past histories than you. They have different hobbies than you. And pricing is just about the most unique thing that we can come up with when it happens to be talking about business. Because everything that I spend money on in my businesses, my clients pay for. And I like to spend, if you've ever been out at a bar with me, or if you've ever been on a conference with me, or if you've ever been to visit my hometown, I like nice things. I like to spend money. So guess what? I have to charge more. My vehicles for my window cleaning company are very nice. My wraps are very nice. My brand is very nice. My shop is like the cleanest shop in the United States. It is nice. We have custom wallpaper in my shop. Yeah. It's pretty great. And you know who pays for all that? Not me. My clients. And you know who deserves all of that? My clients and my team and me. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how do we figure out what your unique pricing should be, which has nothing to do with your competition and nothing to do with an imaginary neighbor who is taking this class with you right now live. You with me? Cool. All right. So my name's Meaghan Likes. I own a bunch of companies. I just put my first favorite 4 that might be relevant to you on this slide. I am an accountant. I am a CPA. I am not your CPA. And I do really love money. I love talking about money. I love making more money. I love keeping money. I love inspiring you to give more money away on purpose, not on accident. And I love it. I'm also a cleaner. So my very first business of all time was a window cleaning company. And if you're asking yourself, you should add window cleaning, you should. It's a really great business. I love it. That business is called Jeff Likes Clean Windows and Gutters. We also train people how to add window cleaning services to their existing services. So that's called Streak-Free Academy. So you've been like, I've been considering adding window cleaning to my maid service. Well, check us out, Streak-Free Academy. We'd love to teach you how to clean windows at $100 per hour with 5-star service in less than 1 day. And also, I love numbers because knowing our numbers is how we make more money. So I have Bookkeeping Academy Online, where I will teach you how to do your own bookkeeping in less than 1 hour a month. 0 experience required. You don't have to have an accounting degree. You don't have to have gone to college. You don't have to even like numbers, but I can teach you how to get control of your money. So that's what I do. And this pricing class, if I haven't gotten your attention yet, I'm going to ask you, why should you care? Ready for the shocker? Here's why. Drum roll, please. Because 75% of businesses fail. That's not a made-up statistic. That's not imaginary. That is real life. If we were sitting in this auditorium, I would have done some cool visual to make all of you stand up, and then a quarter of you sit down, and then the 3/4 remaining would have been bankrupt. And here is the problem with the current way that most businesses, I'm not going to talk at you because you're probably smart and sophisticated. You would never, ever, ever do this. But most businesses, they price based on their competition. And the problem is your competitor is silently going bankrupt. Their business is actively failing. They have no money in their bank account. They are not paying themselves. They are not driving nice cars. They are not living in houses that they can afford. And they are going to be out of business very soon. Is that dramatic? Did you feel that? Okay. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Don't you dare go price based on somebody who doesn't understand their own freaking numbers. And then you're just copying their bad numbers. And then we create this terrible spiral where as the competition's the bottom, who can go out of business first? And the answer is the person that runs out of cash goes out of business first. So now that I have your attention, I got very aggressive across the screen. I hope you felt that and you felt slightly attacked. We're not going to fail because you're here. You came to the Maid Summit. You are invested in yourself. You are giving your undivided attention, and we are going to fix this problem right now, here, today. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. So, anybody else not want to go to business? Working too damn hard? Too damn stubborn? Yeah, me. So that's why. Let's not do that. Here's how we're going to go through it. First, we're going to talk about how to know how much to charge. So if we're not going to do it the old way where we shop around and we figure out how much a house goes for in our market, freaking hate that. I'm going to show you how to do the math on how much you should be charging. Then I'm going to teach you, because I've learned after giving this talk for like the past 5 years, a guy named Tommy Mill helped me write this talk. That guy is worth hundreds of millions of dollars now. First time I gave this talk was in Phoenix, Arizona at a very fancy hotel. And I learned after I gave it the first time with him that I can't just leave you with the math. Because if I leave you with the math and you don't actually know how to get that price that we come up with, then I actually hurt you. So I'm not going to leave you there. I'm going to tell you how to do the math. Then I'm going to tell you how to go get what you're worth. And then I've learned, remember I keep iterating the same talks, how to know that it's working. Like, how do we know that the math was good and that we're actually fixing the problem? Okay. So here's how to know you're charging enough. It's very simple and slightly stupid. Are you ready? You have to charge more than it costs you. Bum, bum, bum. Isn't that terrible? Like, you're like, man, this girl, she's really arrogant. She's kind of a jerk. I don't like this. I think I might go watch a different summit talk right now. But here's the deal. Math, pricing, numbers, they don't have any feelings. And what happens is it's way easier for us to call a competitor and just copy their playbook as they're silently going bankrupt than it is for us to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and just writing down, what are our actual costs? How are we actually spending our money? Now, better yet, and bonus points, you have a bookkeeping system that serves you and tells you a story every month of where did your money freaking go. That's the most beautiful part. So the secret sauce to not going bankrupt is just charging on every single job more than it costs you. Now, you might be looking at me and be like, well, she owns a window cleaning company. I own a maid service. They're different. She doesn't understand. I've been doing this a long time. I've been coaching maid service companies since 2018. So 7 years where I've been in the trenches with you. I've had my window cleaning company since 2007. So That's 18 years that I've been doing the math on my own. I make a shit ton of money in my window cleaning business. I am very good at the math part. So here's what it requires. Getting your head out of the sand, getting your ego out of the way, and really thinking about that job, how much did it cost me? So we have some simple costs, very similar to window cleaning, which have to do with soap. Soap, pretty nominal. How much do we spend on soap per job? We also have other things like dusters. There's a beautiful, brilliant woman named Goja based out of Chicago. And she once got in a fight with a dusting company and she bought like an entire shipping freight. I'm not sure it's entirely true, but it's mostly true. I've seen it with my own two eyes. A shipping freight container of dusters. Okay. So I understand dusters are disposable and you have to use them on every job. The other thing that I've learned after coaching in the maid service company world for a couple of years is vacuum cleaners. They break. They cost money. We have to use them on every job, right? Okay, so you have some costs related to that actual job, but the reality is they're pretty nominal. They're like, we could try to put an exact dollar amount with some pennies on it, but it's not the majority of your costs. I want you to think about it. When you think about your P&L, or when you think about your bank account, when you think about your money coming in and out of your business, what is your number one cost? If you guess labor, if you guess payroll, if you guess people, that's correct. So how much time are your people spending on that job and how much does that actually cost you? Now, if you're on the right track, if you're thinking, well, I pay my people, I live in California. Fun fact, California living wage, $22 an hour. If you're single and have no kids, okay? $22 an hour. So let's say, hypothetically, you're paying your people living wage. And I learned this from Liz Trotter. So if you want to figure out what your living wage is, well, you should go Google state of California living wage and name of your city, and it'll tell you a dollar amount. So ideally, you're paying a living wage. And if you're thinking, well, that's how much it costs me, and I know that it should take this long for every job, that's how much the job costs me. I'd say you are closer than most, but you still have other things related to that employee, right? You have their payroll taxes. You have their workers' comp insurance. You have other things, though, that we don't always think about, which was how much did it cost for that client to call you? How much did it cost for you to keep that client happy? How much did it cost for you to attract that employee? How much did it cost for you to be able to like give benefits to that employee? How much did it cost for you to have the insurance for the whole company so that you'd be able to have employees? How much did it cost for you to have the shop or the office to be able to have that employee store their supplies at? How much does it cost in terms of what those other things are that are built into that job? Job costing on its head seems relatively simple, but when we get into the math and the details, it's pretty complicated. So like, Meaghan, I thought you said we were going to do this easy and it was going to be quick. Okay, so we're going to skip this because it's actually quite complicated to figure out that at Mrs. Jones' house every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for her semi-monthly cleaning, it costs me $72.42. That's kind of tricky math. Now, there are some hacks, but we're not going to get into now. What we're going to do instead is we're going to just see, are we as a whole, as a company, charging enough? So what I need you to do is I need you to go and run a profit and loss report. And I'm hoping in your profit and loss report, there's a section that says income or revenue or sales. And there's a section that says cost of goods sold. And those two numbers are super critical because what happens is we can never make money if one of these two numbers is off. If there's something broken in our company, if you are listening to this and you're like, Meaghan, I have not paid myself in months. There's not enough money in the bank account. I'm stressed out. I've got creditors calling me. I've got people looking for me. Then I guarantee you the problem is in one of these two numbers. One, you're not selling enough. Or two, for everything you're selling, you're actually spending too much money on it because you're not selling it for the right price. Bingo. We're 14 minutes in and I'm finally getting your attention about why we're talking about pricing, right? So if we're not priced right, the problem is our gross profit will never be right. Now, none of you are ever going to care about gross profit unless you're like a very obscure nerd who happened to take accounting in your like class a long time ago and you thought it was interesting. Most of us don't care. But here's the thing about gross profit. You can't outrun a bad pricing model. Gross profit tells us, are we charging the right amount so that we have enough margin? You've heard that number, right? Margin left to cover our overhead expenses. Now, overhead expenses are very relevant because they are how much it costs to run our company even when the shit hits the fan, even when things are bad. How much does it actually cost us to run our company? So overhead expenses come into play here because we have our sales or revenue, we have our cost of goods sold, we have our overhead expenses. At the very end of all of that formula, we have something called net profit. Saying it louder for those in the back, net profit. And the whole point of being in business is to be profitable, because if we're not profitable, then we will never have enough cash in the bank and we will go bankrupt. Okay, you might be like, what the heck is going on with this lady? She's just super intense. And I'm just like, it's in the afternoon and I haven't had my coffee. I'm sorry, but this is the fundamentals of business, is to not fail. Do not be 3 out of 4 business owners that go out of business. I don't want that for you. I want you to be successful. So we are going to charge more than it costs us. And we're going to know that we're charging more than it costs us by watching our gross profit. Our gross profit from month to month, from week to week, should not vary as a percentage. It should be about the same. If you're in residential cleaning, it should be about 50%. It's a fun little hack. 50% for every dollar you make, you're going to spend about 50 cents on that labor, that workers' comp insurance, those cleaning supplies, the cost that it takes to deliver the service. The other 50% gets to go to overhead. You spend 50% more on overhead, you're going to have no profitability, right? So ideally, you're not spending more than 30% on overhead. Then you've got 20% net profit. And now you can start stacking cash in the bank and go into the future, not going bankrupt. So what am I talking about? That was a bunch of weird accounting numbers. We're not sure if our books look right. What I'm talking about is breaking even. What I'm talking about is not losing money. What I'm talking about is charging more for every job than it actually costs us. So you've maybe heard break-even point before. I don't think this is new to the maid service industry. We understand our margins are thin. That's something we tell ourselves at the conferences. But how do we actually not lose money on our jobs? Well, we get really clear about what our break-even point is. And the math here is a formula. So your break-even point is your fixed cost. So that's how much it costs whether you sell anything or not, divided by your gross profit margin, which you need to know your book should show you. So fixed cost divided by gross profit margin. And that's going to give you your break-even point. And if you did that math on a monthly basis, which most of us will do, looking at our P&L for last month, fixed cost divided by gross profit margin, that's the break-even dollar amount you had to have made in order to cover all of your expenses. Now, ideally, we would be profitable, so we can add profit on top of that to come up with a target goal revenue. You can do this on a weekly basis. You can do this on a monthly basis. I don't recommend doing it on an annual basis because it's just too far and too long to fix anything. But in maid service, you know where I really love this? Even at my window cleaning company, I love this on an hourly basis, because what happens is you probably didn't start your company yesterday. If you're like me, you started your company 18 years ago. That makes me feel very old. 18 years ago. If I'm lucky, I still have clients from 18 years ago. Here's the thing about older clients. They're not usually as profitable. They don't usually pay me as much because they've been around for a long time before I went to classes like this and I learned how much to price. So what I love about break-even point is I can figure out what is my break-even point per hour, and then I can figure out what is my average hourly rate per job, which is a number that you're trying to keep in your head anyway. Maid service, I know you guys are thinking about this, right? And we can see, is my average hourly rate higher or lower than my break-even per hour? If it's lower than my break-even per hour, then guess what? I'm losing money. I am going silently break it. If it's higher, guess what? I'm profitable. Yay! If you could see my full face, I am doing a happy dance, because the game here is being profitable, staying profitable, and putting money in the bank for a rainy day. So love break-even point because it's a very clear number. And once you get clear on your break-even per hour, everything unlocks. So window cleaning company, break-even point per hour, $144.05. When I do a job for $143 per hour, I have lost money. You know what happens when I lose money? I am paying to go to work. Anybody else feel like they're working too damn hard to pay to go to work? Raise your hand. You're working too hard. Stop working for free. Figure out what your break-even point is per hour. Go through your client list, figure out who you're not making above break even on, and go raise their freaking prices, because this is not a charity, it's a business. You're working too hard to work for free. Soapbox over. Now, I do always give this hack. So Ellen Rohr, great mentor of mine, rush and take a quick picture because I'm teaching a class and I'm quoting her. Hey, Ellen. Okay, Ellen says, if you don't want to do the math, if you don't want to figure out what your books are, if you don't want to worry about that, just go ahead and triple your prices and you'll probably fix your unprofitable problems. Does anybody just laugh out loud or spit out their coffee or turn green? Nobody wants to freaking triple their prices. That's too scary. So what I'm going to say, which Ellen taught me, is choose your scary, choose your hard. Either do the math, because that's your job as the owner, or go triple your prices. Those are your two choices. You have to pick one. I guess option number 3 is go bankrupt. But like that, let's be real. You're here at the Maid Summit. You don't want to go bankrupt. Let's not do that. Okay, section number 2 of today's class. Are we having fun yet? It's going great, don't you think? Okay, now we figured out, what do I have to charge? Basically, more than it costs me. That's it. That's the basics. Now, how do I actually go get what I'm worth? So I'm going to step out of my lane for just a second. I'm going to pretend like I'm really good at sales and I'm really good at business, which I'm actually relatively good at both of those. And I'm going to help you figure out how to get what you're worth. So here's the thing. We think that pricing is about math. And it is. You have to do good math to set good prices. But then it's about feelings. And if you are feeling green inside and you're like, I'm not worth that. I can't charge, she's in California. I can't charge $144 per hour. That's just crazy time, right? If you're feeling that way, anybody nodding? Mm-hmm. Why do you feel that way? We just did a bunch of math that said that's what you have to charge. That's what your business is set up as. That's how you're paying all your people. You got to charge it. Why wouldn't you just go? It doesn't have any feelings. You have to just charge it. So get out of your own way and start thinking about, okay, if I'm sure the math is right, how do I get my client to yes? Because that's what you're really afraid about. So they're not going to see the value. They're not going to want to pay it. And then you get worried that you're going to go bankrupt because you don't have any clients left. So humans don't buy based on rational things, right? They're buying based on feelings. They're buying based on emotions. So here's the top 3 hacks that I've got for you about what's happening in your client's head. We're talking about a brand new client, not Mrs. Jones from 18 years ago, but brand new client. They want to feel smart. They want to feel like they're making a good decision. They're making a good choice. They're choosing the best house cleaner in their entire area who's going to clean their house the best, better than anybody else in the market. They want to feel smart. They also want to feel like they're getting a good deal. So they want to feel like, I did all my research and I came up with the best person for the best price who can clean my house the best. That's what they want. They want to feel like they had choices, they made a good choice, and they are very smart. They also are afraid of losing something more than they are of gaining something. They're afraid of being dumb. They're afraid of making a bad choice. They're afraid of losing part of their hard-earned money on a bad vendor that's coming in their house. Anybody relate to that? Yeah, that makes sense, right? That makes sense in our head? Okay, so that's what they're afraid of. So here's the deal. How do we overcome those fears? Well, we have to educate that client. If we know number 1 priority for a client is that they feel like they made a smart decision and that they were smarter, then you need to stop treating them like they're dumb. I know. You're like, man, 23 minutes in and she's still beating me up. What is wrong with her? So a lot of us, we will feel like we don't want to go tell our clients the price because it's more than our competitors and we're not sure we're worth it. Did you hear that? Why are you hiding from the price? That is the number 1 thing they want to know is how much is it going to cost me? So stop hiding from the price. Now, if you're afraid that your price is higher, because it should be a lot higher than your competitors because you're better, because you're here at the Maid Summit and you're listening to me, which makes you 10 times smarter than most people. Now, if you are sure that you are going to be higher, then why don't you get in front of that? Why don't you just tell them that you're the best? Because you know what people love? They love telling their friends that they're smarter than them. They made a better decision, that they have a better housekeeper than them, that their house is cleaner than theirs, that their house is better than theirs. They love that shit, right? So share with them what you do. Share with them how you do it. Share with them why you're different than the 10 other companies that Googled before. and tell them that you're going to charge them for it because they're freaking smart and they are making a good decision and they deserve the best. If you just do the same as everybody else, we're the best, highest quality, we're like the cleanest. If you just do the same as everybody else, you're not going to stand out. But if you get in front of them and say, hey, we are the most expensive, we are the premium house cleaner provider in the name the area, and we guarantee that we are going to clean your house at the same time every week in the same way every week, and we're going to add in some deep cleanings every week for different parts of your house so that your house actually stays clean. Your house is never going to be dirty again. We guarantee that when we leave your house, it's going to smell like whatever, lavender, roses, cookies, I don't care. And that we are going to leave you with a smile on your face. Every time you come home after we've cleaned, you are going to walk in that door and you are just going to beam because you know that you are smart and you made a good decision and you hired the best because our work stands for itself. If you said something like that, change your variation. Remember at Window Cleaning Company, we say different things in window cleaning. But if you said something like that, would you stand out? Did I shy away from being the most expensive? Did I shy away from being premium? Did I shy away from all the extra benefits that I do? And you could add this shit up all day long. You could be like, I clean out your microwave. I clean out your refrigerator. I clean out your oven. I clean your baseboards. I clean your ceiling fans. I change your air filters. I change your sheets. You might be like, Meaghan, I don't do any of that. I'm like, well, what if you did? Do you think your clients would pay more? Because I need all that stuff done around my house. Wouldn't that be amazing? We clean your furniture. Like there are so many things that you could simply add on that wouldn't take you that much more time, that would make you stand out so that you would not feel so weird charging twice what your competition is charging. Because I think that's about where we're at. You need to be about double them so that you don't go bankrupt and you have enough margin to pay your people a living wage and have some left for you. So that's where we're moving towards. Educate them, share with them what makes you different. Don't make them guess. Don't assume that your brand is going to stand on its own. Give them a price because they want to know a price. Treat them like they're geniuses because they are, because they found you and they want to do business with you. Now, the other thing is I don't like to be told what to do. I like to feel smart. Remember, principle number 1, I want to feel smart. So I want to know that I have made the best choice. So I probably need you to price anchor me. I probably need you to tell me what my competitors are charging. Oh no, I can't show them that I'm charging double what my competitors charge me. Hell yes, you can. If you had a little checkbox that showed me all the things that you do that they don't do, that would be amazing. If you told me, hey, we would be happy to take your business and we would actually be willing to charge you what our competition is charging you. We could charge you $150 per house clean and we're not going to give you any of this stuff. Or we could charge you $300 for house cleaning and we give you all this stuff. Now, you get to choose which one you want. Guess what happens? They don't go to the cheap competitor to take the cheap option because the cheap competitor is not telling them their pricing, right? They go to you because you just price marinated them. You price anchored them and you educated them so they could choose the best option. Or you could say, some of our clients, man, they love the luxury package. They love that we do all their laundry for them. They love that we, sanitize their whatever. We love that. So they pay $400. But, that's probably not for you. You probably want to be in one of these other 2 packages. But guess what? Now you just give me a choice because how dare you call me cheap? I want the best. I am the kind of person that always buys the top package. Give me the top package. I want to buy it. If you don't give me the option of the top package, I'm going to find somebody else who does give me the option of the top package. You see what just happened there? It's the most magical thing. I just shopped against myself, for myself, on the same page with the same company without going to anybody else. And I felt smart because I made a choice and it was a good choice. And you're going to keep reminding me that it was a great choice, the choice I chose. So let them feel like they're shopping. Let them feel like they're in control. Let them feel like they get to choose how much they spend. Now, there's a way to curate this so that it's better. And that is the popcorn sales strategy. Remember, for 50 cents more or for $1 more, and you can do this. The strategy A has them all spread out by $2.50. So small is $2.50. Medium is $5, large is $7.50. I'm tired already. I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even know how hungry I am or how much popcorn I want. There's no good deal here. But when a small is $2.50 and a medium is $6.50, that's an easy choice. How hungry am I? Am I $2.50 hungry or $6.50 hungry? I'm pretty hungry. I'm $6.50 hungry. Okay, now a medium $6.50, a large for $1 more. I could get double the size. Yeah, I'm freaking hungry to eat dinner. I want $7.50. What a good deal. Do you see what just happened? Small is the same price, large is the same price, but I suddenly feel smarter because I just made different decisions for myself without ever talking to anybody else, because you just put it there next to each other. So let them do that. Let them feel smart. Let them take some power back. And then don't you dare just charge on price. You're charging on value. How much is their time worth? What is that worth, coming home and knowing that the whole house has been cleaned, that all of the beds have been changed, that all of the towels have been cleaned, that you don't have to ask, is the dishwasher clean or dirty? Did they clean up the coffee pot? Like, every single time it is done, and that peace of mind is just absolutely infinite. So what we're doing here is we're selling benefits, not features. And I love this chart. I'm not going to go through it, but I'm going to be quiet for just a second while I take a drink of water while you go through it. Headphones. We all have headphones. What's the feature? What's the benefit? Vacuum cleaners. It's like, I did this for cleaners. What's the feature? What's the benefit? Air fryers. I freaking love that. Removable basket. I don't know. Do I need one? Do I not need one? Why would I need one? Well, the benefit, it's easier to clean. I can throw in the dishwasher. Oh, hell yeah. Sign me up for the air fryer with the removable basket. That's what I want. Yes, please. We're selling benefits. What is the benefit of them using your service? What are you actually doing for them? No one cares about the features. Okay. And then, do you feel like I'm confident? Do you believe me? Am I bugging you? Am I like irritating you a little bit? Do I come across a little bit too aggressive, a little too arrogant? It's the confidence. But guess what? You trust me. You believe me. It sure sounds like I know what I'm talking about. And that's how you should be when you go into home. That's how you should be when you're on the phone. That's how your team should be when you're pricing these cleanings at double what you used to price them. Because that's what I'm wanting for you. I'm wanting you to double your prices because you are freaking worth it and you're not making enough money and you're working too damn hard. Present it with confidence. Know your numbers. I know that it costs me $144.05 for every hour I have a technician out in the field. So I better be making more than $144.05, right? I have confidence in that. Why would I want to feel smart too? Why would I be actually paying my people to go work? No. My clients pay for us to come to their house, and there should be some left over for the owners, right? That's the profitability part. So when we say our prices, we're not going to flinch. We're not going to apologize. We're not going to cringe. We're not going to make yourself small. We're going to say with confidence, ma'am, damn, you have a beautiful, you're not going to say damn. That's a California thing. We don't say that anywhere else in the world, probably. We say, wow, what a beautiful home you have. This is gorgeous. You know, a home like this usually is going to be in the about $500 per cleaning range. It is just stunning. I can't wait to take a look. Okay, you just shocked them. You walked in the door and you shocked them. Like, $500, my last cleaner charged me $180. No way. Okay, but what happens is then you give them the options. You can tell them what the competition would charge them. But what if the competition would charge them $200? But here's all the things they're missing that they actually need that would get them up to $500. Amazing, right? Also, whenever we raise our prices, especially in cleaning, it's like weird. We're like scared to do it. You can just say, we raised our prices because everything's more expensive and we need to keep up with the times so that we can be sure to be here providing this great service that you have come to expect and you deserve well into the future. We don't want to go out of business, Mrs. Jones. We just took this class from this crazy lady. Her name is Meaghan. She's from California. And she told us that 75% of businesses fail and we don't want to fail. So we have to charge more than that costs us and we need to raise your prices. Hope you understand. That was a lot more words than Netflix gives you. I feel like Netflix raises my prices like every, quarter, year? They don't apologize. Does Netflix even cost them more money? I don't think so. But they just send me their price increases because it's a matter of doing business. So stop making it about feelings or about emotions and just do it. And then get your team on board. Raising prices should be a good thing. They should be happy about it. They should feel confident in it because you know what? They're making a living wage. They've got the best darn vacuum cleaners. They have great equipment. They have great uniforms. They have great tools. They drive great vehicles, and they love working with you. And they're excited because they trust you, because you are a smart business owner who knows your numbers and knows how much it costs you to do every job. Okay. Also, you got to invest in our staff, especially the ones on the phones, especially the ones doing sales. They're going to get pushback. You need to give them the tools so they know how to deal with the pushback. So you've got to go through an overcoming objections spiel. You got to go through it. When a client says you're more expensive, you just train your team not to lose a beat, not to break a sweat. And you just say, yep, and we're worth it. And we can't wait to show you how or why, or here's 10 reasons why. Our clients have voted us the best blah, blah, blah for the past blah, 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 because blah, 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 right? Just train your staff on the party lanes that are important to the client, not to you, not to the staff member, but to the client. When a client asks you if you can do it cheaper, we would be happy to look at those options with you. We'd be happy to look at the packages and find something that fits within your budget. We're changing the package, not the price, not the quality, right? Train your team to do that. When a client says, that's just over my budget, we say, oh, I totally understand that, Mrs. Jones, and I don't want to waste your time at all. You called us because you need your house cleaned. Let's go through the options to see if we can find something that will work for you. Then we take away all that extra crap. We end up at our normal price that we were charging for a much more basic cleaning that's going to go way faster. And we have said, well, and maybe on occasion you're going to want us to add in some of these services. We can revisit that after a couple of weeks. Then you just follow up with them. Keep upselling them, you keep offering them, and then eventually they turn into your normal package anyway. So you don't be afraid to talk to your team about the objections. Don't be afraid to get in front of them. They need to feel confident too. And this takes role playing. There's no other way to do this except role playing. You need to talk it through, and you need to pretend like you are really pissy Mrs. Sally. You're really pissy Mrs. Jones. You're really, really stingy Mrs. Burns, and you're going to talk it through with them. Okay. All right. And then how do we know when it's working? So I just took you through some pretty scary steps. How do we know that it actually worked? Well, it's quite simple. More money in your bank account. More money after payroll. More money every week. Because if we charge more than it costs us, and we don't increase our costs as we make more revenue, then guess what happens? We become more profitable, and we want to be profitable because that's how we become sustainable, and that's how we actually live to see another day and another year. So how we know it's working is there ends up being more cash in the bank account. And the other thing that we notice is we start getting some no's. People start telling us, no, thank you. More people tell us, no, thank you. So in this section, I want to talk you through that fear of the no thank yous, because you might get a couple of no's and you might be like, that Meaghan, she's a crook. She lied to me. She made it sound so easy. I believed her. She was so confident. And now I'm getting all these no's left and right, and people are not wanting to pay. I thought I was hot. I was the best thing ever. I thought that I was worth double. And now I'm realizing I'm not. And then you're going to start to feel not smart, which is not what we want. So here's the math to do it yourself to know if it's working. Okay. Ready? When you know your numbers, you can price confidence. So first of all, if you know your break-even point per hour, you are too smart to work for free, right? So if you go back and look at your jobs and you know that you are charging more than it costs you on every job, gold star, that's working. That's going to turn into dollars in your bank account. Okay. Also, here's an interesting example. Let's say you have 100 recurring clients and your average cleaning is $150. And normally they do it every other week. There's always like one skip a year where they are out of town or whatever. And we don't charge for skips because we're not that sophisticated. Okay. So 100 recurring clients, $150 per cleaning, 25 cleanings a year. That's $375,000 of revenue. You with me? Okay. Ready for the crazy part? If you doubled your prices, like I've been hinting at this whole time, to $300 per cleaning, you could make the exact same amount with the exact same number of cleanings with half of the number of clients. Now, if you were to double your prices, do you think you'd really lose half your clients? If you added in some of those features and those benefits, the benefits especially that I just mentioned, probably not, right? So you can afford to lose some clients. You can afford to get some no's and still make the same amount. But it's going to be scary. It's really hard when you start getting cancellations. It's really hard when you start getting more no's than you're used to. But this math, stay the course, this math is way more profitable. Can you imagine making the exact same dollar amount for half as many clients? Would you need fewer staff? Would you need to spend less money? Would life be a little bit simpler? Yes, it would. Yes, it would. So that's your confidence boost there. Yeah, I have a couple of other examples for you because most of you are not going to listen to this and be brave enough to double your prices. Although if you do, I want to hear about it. And you got the chat to engage with me. I'm going to give my email address at the end. But most of you are not going to do that. So the same $100 100 clients at $150 per cleaning, 25 cleanings a year, $375,000. Now, what if you just raised your prices by 10%? You raise your prices by 10%, $15 per cleaning without even adding anything extra, no extra benefits. You would not lose that many. And the ones you lose are the ones you don't want. So there's not a lot of risk. You raise your prices 10%, you lose 5 clients, you still end up making more money. And you have a little bit more room in your schedule, and your office feels better because these were the cheap clients that were a pain in the butt anyway, right? Raising your prices should not be so scary. I don't know why we get scared. We get scared because of competition that's going bankrupt. No, our goal is to just charge more than it costs us and charge what we need to charge. The other example I was going to give you is the last little simple hack. So let's assume that we're going to lose, 5% of our clients. We charge 10% more. We're still making more money. We make one other adjustment. And that is that we stop letting our clients abuse our cancellation policies and we start holding tension to those skips. Because when you sell a client a recurring clean, you tell them, Mrs. Jones, if you do monthly cleaning, it'll be this much, higher dollar amount. If you do every other week, cleaning will be this much, lower dollar amount. What do we say? We say, because Mrs. Jones, those are called maintenance cleanings. The more often we clean, the cleaner it stays. The cleaner it stays, the less time it takes us to clean it, the less money we have to charge you. I hope that's part of your sales pitch, right? Well, then you're a freaking liar when you don't charge them for that skip, because guess what happens? The house still gets freaking dirty when it skips. So charging for that skip can actually add quite a bit to your bottom line. So that was just a free little hack for you. Charge for the skips because you should. And when you get confident, when you get like really in this, where you're like, I understand, Meaghan said I'm working for free. I'm working too damn hard to work for free. I hope you heard that. Then you're going to start feeling confident and you're going to start explaining these rate increases with confidence to your clients and sharing with them how this is a good thing for them. We're not going to be apologetic anymore. We are sophisticated business people. We came to the Maid Summit. We know what we're doing here. We're not going to be apologetic. We're just going to tell them how it is. We're going to stop paying to go to work. We're going to stop working for free. And we're not greedy. We're just not going out of business. We're just not going bankrupt. We're not going to do it like the other 75% idiots over there that are working too damn hard and they're afraid to charge what they're worth. That's not going to be you. You can do this. You just have to do a little bit of math, a little bit of practice, and then you got the wiggles out. You got to get some confidence because you are worth this, and so is your team, and so is your business, and so is your family. You got this. Okay, this is my permission that it's okay to charge what you're worth. And now I want to know, what are you going to do? Maid Summit gives all these tutorials about how to do this class, and they said you had to leave with an action item. So what is your action item? What are you going to do differently because of these few minutes we just spent? We spent 43 minutes together. What are you going to do because of those 43 minutes? Here's a reminder of what we went through. How to know how much to charge. So you got to do some math. You got to clamp your books. You got to figure out what your cost of goods sold are. You got to figure out what your gross profit is, right? How to actually get what you're worth. How to sell those benefits over features. And then how to have confidence it's working. Even when people tell you no, even when people drop out, how do we know it worked? So what are you going to stop doing? Hopefully you're going to stop apologizing. You're going to stop waiting till next month to figure this out. You're going to stop deferring to others. You're going to stop asking your spouse what the book's like or your accountant. You're going to start knowing what your break-even point is. You're going to start knowing how much you're making for every job. You're going to start understanding the story that your numbers are trying to tell you. And what are you going to do differently next week? Hopefully you're going to call me and you're going to say, Meaghan, my books are a mess and we need your help. And you're going to say, we want to know how much does it cost us for every job. We want to know how to make more money. Hopefully that's what you're going to do. Hopefully you're going to raise your prices. Hopefully you're going to not be afraid. You're going to go to your team and you're going to do some overcoming objection role playing. That's what I hope you're going to start. Now, if you need extra credit, if this was like just a taste, 45-minute taste, here's some books that really helped me. I mentioned Ellen Rohr. She's an amazing book saying, how much should I charge? First time I read that book, it said I should be charging $1,000 per hour. Second time I read that book, it said I should be charging $5,000 per hour. Just gave you 45 minutes of very valuable time. I hope that you use it wisely. Now, my buddy Tommy Mello, I quoted him earlier, many hundreds of $1 million millionaire. He wrote a book called Home Service Millionaire. He's working on his sequel called Home Service Billionaire. And then the last one, Pumpkin Plan, this idea of like working for less people, making more money. That's by Mike McCallitz. Love that book. So if this is kind of like hitting you between the eyes and you're like, I need more of this, go check out these books. They will get you what you need. And if you need help on your bookkeeping, if you need help on your confidence, if you need help figuring out what your numbers are trying to tell you, reach out to us. Me and my partners, we'd love to help you at Likes Accounting. Connect at likesaccounting.com. We'd be happy to do a free review of your QuickBooks to show you some things that we think should be set up differently. Okay, it's okay to charge what you're worth. You are absolutely worth it. You're doing great work. I'm proud of you for investing these 46 minutes. Sorry, Amar, I'm 1 minute over in your business. And I hope as a result of today, you will not fail. You will not be a statistic. You'll be one of the 25% that actually make it. I believe in you. You can do this. Go kill it.